Welcome to the High School Participation Tutorial, where we will take a look at the role of the classroom and elective teachers for students who are working on completely modified programs. We will address 5 key areas where teachers can really make a difference for students by increasing their participation and interactions with other students. First of all, teachers can help provide in-service to other classmates, either through formal presentations or informal explanations. For example, a school therapist might answer some questions from classmates or demonstrate how students use equipment such as a voice output device, as we see here during this music class. Classroom teachers can be powerful models for classmates by interacting with students with special needs in their class. For example, a teacher can demonstrate to students how their classmate is making choices, as we see here. Teachers can reinforce learning by encouraging classmates to interact one-to-one with students when using their form of communication, as we can see here. After observing how to offer choices, this classmate is communicating with this student using the same format. This teacher is providing in-service by instructing classmates in the woodworking class to wait for this student's question or comment when she is using her voice output device. Students on modified programs are usually working on skills designed to increase their participation and the quality of their lives. Do your classmates know which skills your student is working on? If they don't, how will they know how to interact in a meaningful way with your student? These classmates are assisting this student to use her voice output device and to touch the picture in the book they are reading. All students on modified programs have their learning or skills outlined in their IEP. Do you know how your student communicates and makes choices? If your student has vision issues, how does your student use that vision? Do you know how to program your student's voice output device so you can put a message on it for the class? Check out the academic participation kits on the PISP website for ideas for using switches in your classroom. What do you think this person is showing the librarian? She is explaining how this student can use her voice output device to greet the teacher and ask her a question. If these kinds of interactions are arranged ahead of time, they are more likely to occur if worked into a routine. One of the most important roles for teachers of electives is to plan with a teaching assistant opportunities for the student to participate with the class. Arranging for one-to-one interactions is one of the most meaningful ways for students to interact with classmates, as we can see here with these peer tutors. Small groups also offer great opportunities for classmates to get to know your student. These small groups might include classmates working in stations in a cooking class, or hanging out at lunchtime. Small group interactions help to build meaningful connections, as we can see here where this student is having fun using her switch to select different moves on a twister game. Teachers of electives also need to be mindful of ways that students on modified programs can participate with the entire class. Some examples could include helping to hand out or collect materials, giving reminders to the class using a voice output device, or carrying a colorful prop attached to the wheelchair in a drama production, as we see here. Teachers need to be proactive when providing opportunities for peer interactions. These interactions should be scheduled ahead of time into the activity for the teaching assistant. Peers are powerful motivators for our students. This high school student loves line dancing, so she has a designated page on her communication device to answer questions to develop conversation skills on a motivating topic. Students with physical disabilities often use a lot of energy to work on their skills, so as teachers, we need to make sure that activities are highly motivating. At high school, we need to keep motivators age-appropriate, as we see with this student who enjoys looking through a teen magazine instead of storybooks. Sometimes it is good to pair a sensory motivator, like music, with a job, like paper shredding, as we see here. You may need to be a motivator detective to find out what is most motivating for your student. For example, if your student loves music, what rhythms or styles are preferred? At high school, we need to look for similar components in age-appropriate music. What do you think this student is motivated by? Music? Light?
Play again. Play again.
By taking the time to interact one-on-one with your student, you are modeling for the rest of the class how to do this with their classmate. This could involve offering a choice of color to your student, greeting your student at eye level and waiting for and acknowledging the response, helping your student use equipment in a gym activity, or prompting your student in a job in the canteen. When classroom teachers verbalize out loud what they see or hear their nonverbal student doing, and what they think they are communicating, they are giving a strong message that this classmate is a communicator.
You've been shaking your legs, you've been wrinkling your brow, you haven't looked very comfortable. I wonder, are you telling me that you're uncomfortable? Yes or no? Which is it?
That's a yes.
Yes. Okay.
Students who are nonverbal should have a personal dictionary which outlines how they communicate using gestures, facial expressions, vocalizations, and other body language. This sample was posted in the art room so that everyone could refer to it. Do you know how to interpret and reinforce your students' nonverbal communication? How is this high school teacher modeling for others through his interactions with this student?
Fake Mr. Letter. Oh, Mr. Spark.
First of all, this teacher is stopping as he sees this student wants his attention, and he is waiting for her to use her voice output device. Next, he is interpreting out loud what he thinks his student is saying. Then he takes the time to respond back to the student. One of the most important roles of a high school teacher is to help plan for your students' modified participation in your classroom. Electives often provide excellent opportunities for students with severe disabilities to participate, as many of the activities are hands-on and sensory motivating. Check out the academic participation kits on the PISP website for handouts and visual examples of students learning in a modified way in all subject areas. Here are a few examples of how high school teachers can help plan modified participation with teaching assistants. Without ongoing planning, it is difficult for assistants to help students participate meaningfully in your class. Take a few moments to read through some of these examples. Students on modified programs can also practice their skills within functional jobs in the classroom as well as the school at large. It is helpful to do an environmental scan in the classroom as well as the school and surrounding community. High school is also about preparing our students for work or service-related activities. High school schedules should include your students' skills to be worked on in each activity as we see listed here. We can build in participation and learning both in and outside classrooms through electives, which are more motivating, and community activities to help prepare for adulthood. How have we modified the activities in this high school weight room for these students? What skills do you think they are working on? Your student's occupational therapist and physiotherapist can help modify participation for this activity. Lastly, high school teachers can assist by providing feedback on the student's participation. For example, how does the student interact with peers? Have you tried offering your student choices, practiced greetings, or assisted with switch work with your class? Can your student answer some simplified questions for an assignment, as we see here? Students on modified programs are often working on similar skills for a while. So how can you note progress for your student? Take a few minutes to review some ways listed here where you can note progress for your student, and check with your student's case manager if you are not clear about what your student is there to practice in your class. We've looked at several ways in which high school classroom teachers can help increase participation for students on completely modified programs. By helping students to engage in real and meaningful ways within your class, you are helping to strengthen real skills that will take them from graduation out into the real world. For more ideas to support students in electives, check out the PISP website for the video High School Participation, as well as the participation kits for electives.